If you're an American, you were probably raised on a steady diet of Magic Johnson highlights. Maybe an occasional Pistol Pete play. And flooded with LeBron dimes. But chances are you've never seen Milos Teodosic play. Teodosic has been thrilling EuroLeague crowds for 10 years with the most innovative and creative passing on the planet. He combines supreme court awareness and unique passing mechanics to make the most confounding and thrilling passes for scores. So let's explore his game to see how it fits in the NBA. Before we get into all the amazing assists, let's look at how he scored while playing for CSKA Moscow. Of course, his primary mode of attack was the pick and roll, and he was an elite shooter from behind the arc, which forced the defense to stretch themselves out to cover him. Fortunately for him, the defense would often get stuck out of position on the ball screen, allowing him to hop into most of his three-point shots wide open. He also did a lot of damage in the mid-range, where he could get into his step-back game and rise up as the defender lost his balance on the good jab step. Notice how he scissors his feet together after the good jab step gets his defender on skates. This is perfect into a hop for the jumper. Check out how they get him coming off a screen before getting his own ball screen, making it even harder on the defense. And if they were able to stop him initially, he had an incredible assortment of tricks to get the ball in the hole. And you're going to want to see him in person. I'm telling you, even if you have to drive hours to get there. And the best way to find seats to his games as a Clipper is to use the SeatGeek app. It's so simple to use, a couple of taps will give you an experience you'll never forget. SeatGeek saves you tons of time and money by searching multiple ticket sites to compare prices and find amazing deals. I just used it to buy a couple of Summer League seats, and it couldn't have been easier. Plus, I can see the vantage point from my seat, and there's a grade telling you how good a value that price is. And if you use my code BBall, you'll save $20 off your first purchase. So use SeatGeek for all of your sporting events, concerts, comedy shows, and theater tickets. Use my code BBall and treat yourself to the Milos show. He was also very clever on his drives to the hoop off the pick and roll, with a lot of clever inside hand finishes that kept the defense off balance and unsure of what he was going to do. The problem is, I have my doubts whether he'll be able to get these kind of shots off against NBA caliber defense, no matter how creative they are. I think he'll have to rely on his floater game, and at 6'5", he's got good enough size to get into the lane and get these shots off over the big man in the NBA. The Clippers have sets in their offense that get the point guard moving into the pick and roll, and it's these kind of floaters that Teodosic will get a lot of, since I just don't see this kind of half hook going in over the likes of Marc Gasol and Clint Capella. I suspect any kind of drive will more often result in a floater for him to get this shot off, and it's these moments when he's at his best creating something from nothing. An area that Teodosic will excel is shooting the basketball. And what makes me excited is how often he uses the hop to get his shot off quickly, on balance, and in rhythm. He is an elite shooter even when closely guarded, as his 6'5" frame will allow him to get it off against shorter point guards. And his quick release gets that shot off when big men come over to contest, although he will have to contend with much better athletes in the NBA. He reads screens really well, coming off the pin down and fading to the corner when his man tries to shoot the gap. Again, the hop allows him to find the alignment quickly with perfect rhythm. And he's also tricky with his shot, hopping into a catch and shoot before his defender is even ready to get a hand up. The Clippers would be wise to watch clips of CSKA and utilize some of these sets, since they already have high post handoffs in their playbook. Watch how the handoff turns into a pin down, and Milos can quick release this in his defender's face. He spends quite a bit of time off the ball as well in that Klay Thompson role, coming off floppy screens, and can just nail these shots. Here's the Spain pick and roll we did a video on earlier this season, and after back screening, the ball screener's man finds just a sliver of daylight to splash this in his defender's eye. He should seamlessly fit into the Clippers' offense since they run a lot of horns, and I love that they put him at the elbow and allow him to spot up. First, it generates a 3-ball after getting the cross screen, and then a great attack on the catch. And he has great command of his inside hand finishes, quick yet soft off the glass. Now let's get to the fun stuff, his passing. Out of the pick and roll, he's best at creative ways to shuffle the pass to the roll man for easy shots. And he can be unorthodox, seemingly getting stuck in the air only to find the roll man on a nice bounce pass for another layup. He's such a good shooter that big men will have to step up on the ball screen, and he's got excellent timing and knows exactly when to throw that bounce pass. His highlights include tons of great looks for cutters off the pick and roll, and I have no doubt once he starts throwing them in LA, his teammates will cut harder and faster and more often. I also like how they get a little bit of motion first before setting the ball screen, and his assists weren't limited to layups, as he could find perimeter shooters for open shots as well. Skip passing is another sure sign of a great player, and his vision is so good he can easily hook this ball over to the weak side once the defense sagged in to take away the roll man. The other primary source of assists was in transition, where he resembled John Stockton, throwing perfect bounce passes to cutters for easy buckets. He's always under control, scanning the floor, and again will inspire his teammates to cut even more, knowing they'll get a great pass. It wouldn't be hard to imagine DeAndre Jordan running the floor and getting a lob like this from Teodosic, making the big man and the crowd happy at the same time. Plus, he has a ton of flair to his passes as well, not only thrilling the audience, but confusing the defense, leaving free runs right to the hoop. And his vision extends from the backcourt as well. No need to dribble it up when he can throw perfect strikes from 70 feet away. Of course, he's renowned for his poor defense, and there are certainly plenty of instances where he gets blown by EuroLeague guards, meaning NBA point guards will have an easier time getting right to the rim. Part of his issue is that he gets his nose in front of his toes, too much weight leaning forward, and it affects his lateral quickness. I doubt a guy at his age can fix this, so we'll have to hope that DeAndre Jordan can lurk in the background often enough to pressure the shots in the lane that his man will surely get after beating him off the dribble. So there you have it, sports fans. I cannot tell you how excited I am to see Milos Teodosic finally make his debut in the NBA. Without question, he'll bring an exciting brand of basketball influenced by the European game, and I have high expectations that he'll find real success, enabling the Clippers to maintain their high level of play now that Chris Paul is off to Houston. When he steps on the court, you're going to want to flip on the Clippers games, since he is an automatic league pass alert. Sports fans, to see more of our great NBA content and analysis, make sure to hit the subscribe button, but also click the bell and adjust your settings so you can get an alert the second our videos drop, because trust me, you're going to want them hot and fresh. You in?